Well, hello, friends. It's Curt and Jen in the morning podcast. We are excited that it's National Radio Day because even though we're not in radio right now, it still was our career.
Radio was pretty good to us for many years. That is true. So we do have to a nod or one of these for National Radio Day
What is
because
that? Is that the whoop whoop?
whoop whoop, I guess, or around Stanley Cup time, it's raising the cup. I mean, it's a universal. Yeah, this is good, right?
Can be a lot of different things. Raise the roof.
Yeah, exactly. And but did you work at more than one radio station, or did you only work at Star 101.5?
I only worked I worked for what? Four different companies, but I worked for
One
KPLZ,
station.
KBI, it was Como for so much at the time, Como Radio,
Right,
for all
right.
three of those stations on air on Star.
Your entire career, one station, which is incredible for whatever it was, 30 plus years.
30
I mean,
years.
20 plus years. I don't want to date you, right?
30. It's 30. I
Yeah.
started when I was 6, Curt.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I forgot about those
Yeah.
first few years. Okay.
Yeah.
I did it the old fashioned way, starting in Iowa City, Iowa. And then it was, what was the career? Iowa City, then Davenport, Iowa, then Dayton, Ohio, Cincinnati, Toledo, Detroit
Oh
in
my
1996.
God.
I got to market 6. And then I came out here to Seattle. So
Wow. That's
yeah,
quite a
it's
journey
hopping around the Midwest, and then I finally found my place, my happy place,
on
and
the West
P and
Coast.
Dub
And your
exactly,
wife, where you
and
found
my
your
wife as
wife,
well. So yeah, I guess I can thank
Gina.
radio for that too.
Okay, first of all, what do you think of the new glasses? Clear frames. If you're watching, I know that not everyone's watching. I got these clear frames. What do you think?
Well, they're not going to be able to say anything.
Well, I'm asking you, Curt.
You asking everybody else? I'm kidding. They look great. I would not.
Thanks.
You know what? I'm glad you pointed it out because I wouldn't have noticed. Just like you didn't notice my haircut. So it's
Oh,
it's
if
okay.
I would have noticed your haircut in a hot
I'm,
second.
you know what? Of course, that doesn't matter to me. But the funny thing is, I'm going to get, people saying, I thought you only got your hair cut from that one stylist on Sundays, but you went on a Monday. Huh?
Did you go the same place that you
I,
normally go
I
to?
drove I drove by and she told me Jennifer is her name at True Clips, and she told me she had just bought a mini Countryman car. So I drove by and I saw that there was a mini Countryman out in front. I was like, I need a haircut. And I popped in and she's like, yeah, I had to fill in for somebody today. So
You got lucky.
same stylist, different day. But I just wanted to clarify that to everybody because in particular, Bong, he was the guy that commented. He's like, he's like, I want to come and go to your. I don't know if he likes my hair or whatnot. He's like, I want to come and go to your stylist on Sundays. What's the place? So getting him some business
Nice.
on
I like
Sundays.
it. I like it a lot,
And
Curt.
occasional Mondays. Yeah. What did you put in here about Washington boating license?
Because Macy, my youngest daughter, and I yesterday, one of the things that has been on my list forever, and hers
Mhm.
really too, since she was 12, because you can get your boating license starting at the age of 12 in Washington State. We got our boater's license last night. We took the course online, we took the
Oh,
test, and we are official Washington State boaters, and I'm super excited.
I'm happy to hear that. I thought when you said license, I thought you were talking about the tabs or something, but you took what they call it, the Washington Boaters Education Card.
Yes.
And it takes about maybe 4 hours to get through it.
Yeah, at least if you're focused 4 hours,
Hmm.
it took us maybe a little longer than that, Curt.
Yeah. And so you got your little card. And now if we're out boating together and I'm otherwise
Occupied?
incapacitated,
Yeah, whatever. I
you
can
can
take
take
over and
over.
be legal. I could have
That's
taken
true.
over and been just fine without it,
Anytime.
but now
Which
I
actually
know
is
more.
true. I wonder how many people that are actually out on the water, casual boaters actually went through the effort of getting their boater education card, because you can get popped for that if the Coast Guard or the water police pulls you over. It's not called the water police. They'll say, "Where's your card?" I don't actually have the card on the boat. I mean, I did it. I just don't know where the card is. So that's probably bad.
It is bad. And you know what doesn't make any sense to me is that any old Yahoo can rent a boat or a personal watercraft like a
Hmm.
jet ski and not have to have gone through the boater safety class. So then it makes it very, very difficult for those who have gone through the boater education to navigate the waters when there's people out there that don't know what the hell is going on.
Well, I think we talked about that. One of the times that we were out on the boat was that yeah, the rented boats are the ones to sort of watch out for. Of course, they're little battery powered things. They don't have a whole lot of power or whatnot, but they yeah, people are But I would also say the same for the paddle boarders and the kayakers and stuff like that. 'Cause a lot of them, I understand the rules, but I also understand if you zip out in front of a 30-foot boat, you're going to get squished. So there doesn't seem to be any real recognition of that often. And not a blanket statement about the kayakers and the paddle boarders. Some are awesome, but you run into the ones that just don't seem to care. It's like,
Yeah. I would like
yeah,
to share this statistic because this was a theme throughout the education course that we took.
process, right?
Life jackets and the
Mm-hmm.
importance of life jackets and actually wearing them, because they were talking about this crazy statistic on the number of people that die in the water that could have been saved if they were actually wearing their life jacket. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
God, I should have written it down because it was like 89% of people,
Of drownings.
something about drownings, right? And then when you ask their loved ones if the person that drowned owned a life jacket, 90% of them owned a life jacket, they just didn't use it.
It's true. You have to have X amount on your boat based on its size too, as you know from doing your boater education course. And when we quick story, when we got boarded once, Dana and myself, when we were out on our boat, and it was I didn't think about this, but it was the first day. It was a Saturday of the 4th of July weekend, and so we pulled out of the marina, and like as soon as we got out into like open water, I noticed that there was a patrol boat coming closer and closer to us, and I'm not trying to get away, but I also was like, do I need to move? Does he need to go somewhere? Please stop your boat. We're going to board. And they were just doing random checks. And I should say, we passed. They were surprised at how many, and this is because of Dana, how many extra things we had. It's like, well, you're supposed to have, 4 flares. You guys have got 12. You're supposed to have, a life jacket for, up to 8 people. You guys have got 20. I mean, it was like we were way over what we were supposed to have.
That's good though. It's
So,
better to be a prepared boater. And I'm telling you what, I had to give Macy a talking to because, teenagers will go along with what their friends are doing.
right.
And Curt, you can attest to this because you mentioned how many paddle boarders are on the water when it's nice
Yep.
out and
Yep.
how many either don't have it all or aren't wearing their life jacket. And I'm just like, don't.
Well,
Even though you're gonna want to do what the other friends are doing, and you're not gonna seem cool if you're wearing your life jacket when no one else is, wear your life jacket because then you'll be alive.
yeah, appreciate the water. And I think a lot of people just assume, oh, I'm a strong swimmer. But if you fall off whatever you're on and you conk your head and you're unconscious, guess what? No, no bueno.
Right. And in the Pacific Northwest, our average water temperature is 50 degrees. And that will cause hypothermia. And I've heard because, my ex-husband is a cop and the
Mhm.
harbor patrol people, they're like, people drown because they think that the water's warm just because it's a nice day. It is not. It is
It's
not.
cold. It's chilly. All right. We're
Anyway,
getting off of our
moving on.
soapbox now, right?
Okay, yes. Okay,
Uh,
well, I just wanted to mention this because I didn't mention it yesterday. On Sunday, I was up in Cedar Woolley and we did a family dinner for Pat's mom,
okay.
firefighter boyfriend Pat's mom. And
Yeah.
I went to different places in Cedar Woolley to try to have a farm to table dinner. Like I got the freshest, yummiest strawberries from the side of the road. I went to a butcher place that raised the cows in Cedar Woolley, had it butchered in Burlington, got bread from your place that you recommended to me, Bread Farm in
Hmm.
Edison. Anyway, it was delicious. And when you can support local businesses, do it. And it's so much
Hmm.
better for you when you're buying local and consuming fresh food like that, that
Right.
doesn't
Well,
have all the grossness in it.
you're getting great food, and it's a good feeling to be supporting local, small, mom and pop business. Yeah. I mean, that's how it's supposed to work. I mean,
Yeah.
I know it's easy. It's easy to go to the grocery store and grab, a big thing of steak or whatnot, but I like
Yeah.
it. I like it very much.
Yeah.
And that the bread from Edison, I thought it was in Bow, but I think you're right. I think it is in Edison, Washington. Is amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Amazing.
And I when I was there, I got a little nugget for myself because I was traveling all around, going to these little stores or fruit stands or whatever. And I didn't even bring any home to share with Pat. I got my favorite pastry, my favorite French pastry, and it's called Queen Mon.
Okay.
I thought it was pronounced Cougamon, but it's Queen Mon.
All
And
right.
oh, it was so good.
Well, it's
So
probably good that you didn't
freaking
bring anything.
good.
It's probably good you didn't bring anything extra for Pat because you would have gone ahead and eaten that one as well.
Maybe,
So,
maybe.
um,
Anyway, tell me about your vacuum issue.
oh, that's the only exciting thing that happened yesterday. It's not even an exciting thing, but this is not something I was aware of when we got Furby, our robot vacuum, which Dana named Furby because it's supposed to pick up the dog fur. And like,
Yeah.
okay, that's reasonable. Um, when you set it to, you're like, okay, go ahead and go. I mean, I suppose a lot of people do it when they leave the house, but I just have it running while I'm, walking around doing things. You have to pay attention, or you end up stepping on your robot vacuum. I did not. I almost did, and then I almost killed myself trying to avoid stepping on it because it sneaks up on you. You're like standing there. Maybe you're in getting something out of the fridge, and then you close the door and go to turn to the right, and whoa, there it is. So just a word from somebody who almost broke his neck.
Oh
I
my
never even
God.
thought about that I get snuck up on by a robot vacuum.
Kurt, do you wash your feet in the shower?
I know where you're going with this, and I'm going to save that because we're going to talk about the story, right? Which is, and I'll ask you as well. Do you want to open with if you do or not? Because that was the deal. Is a
Nearly
good
four,
portion of people
yeah, nearly 4 in 10 people. Wait,
don't wash their feet in the shower. Yeah, about 37%.
yeah,
Yep,
don't.
they
What?
think that well, you're washing the soap off of your body, so it's draining down to your feet, and there's water going the entire time. So a lot of people think, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I don't. That's what they consider that washing their feet in the shower,
I guess there's times when I've used that logic when I'm just taking a quick shower, I guess. But
right?
I try to make, excuse me, a point to I use a wash rig in the shower, which I know many people do not. I try to make a point to wash my feet, especially in the summertime when you've been wearing flip-flops because your feet are gross and you don't want them in your sheets.
Right. Well, how about so when you say wash rag, is that like a washcloth, or am I missing something
Yeah,
here?
washcloth, yes.
Okay. Um, I think that I think that I don't wash my feet for some reason. There's just the one washcloth or loofah, whatever there is in the shower, and somehow it seems like there should be a separate thing just for feet washing.
If you're going to do a separate thing for feet washing, you should do a separate thing for your butt then too.
I understand that. I knew you were going to say that.
Well, of
So
course. And I would tell the girls that when they were showering, I'm like, you don't want your butt in your face. So wash your face first and then your butt and then rinse out your rag really well.
I'll think of the comedian who did a bit about that. He was talking about how soap was magic. It's the only thing you can go, all right, butt, face, and nothing else in the world would you do that with. Somebody right now is talking about they know the bit. I'll come up with the guy that
I
did it,
would
but it's
always
very
say, you
funny.
don't want your butt in your face and your face in your butt.
Back to the feet. So yeah, every now and again you do a good foot washing, but for the most part, I'm just like, it's fine.
Okay. All right.
It's
Well,
fine.
where do you fall in the category is the question. Do you wash your feet or do you not wash your feet? That is the question.
I guess the majority of the time I'm in the 37% of people who say no, they just let the water run over feet.
I wash mine most of the time, almost all the
Okay.
I think
Well,
pretty much every time, yeah.
is
Um,
this TMI for everybody for
I don't
us?
know, but I'm just sharing because I thought it was a very interesting fact that came out. Did you see last night's supermoon?
Actually, we saw it. So it's going over the course of like 3 days. So Sunday night was like the first almost 100% full supermoon.
Me too.
And
I
that's when
asked people.
we were at the Foo Fighters contest. I mean, you talk about it any of a concert. Foo Fighters wrapping up. The supermoon finally becomes fully exposed in the background, and there's a fireworks show at the end. I mean, it was
Oh,
really pretty perfect.
did you take a
But
photo?
We tried to, but what what happens with fireworks is all of a sudden the sky's filled with smoke and everything else is obscured in the background. So it didn't turn out that great. But yes, so talk about the supermoon.
Well, first of all, it's spectacular if you didn't catch it, but it happens. This is the first of 4 of this year, so they're happening later in the year. So we had one last night. It's when the full moon inches closer than usual to the earth.
Right. So it
So
looks a
it
little
isn't
bigger.
necessarily, it's not that it's bigger, it just appears bigger in the sky because it's closer to us.
Hmm.
And even a little bit of difference closer it just makes a difference. Anyway, September supermoon will coincide with a partial lunar eclipse, which will be awesome. October will be the year's closest approach to the moon, so it'll appear even bigger than
That's the
the one
biggest one
last
for the year.
night.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
then November, it will round out the year. So just know that they're coming and they're beautiful. And I just really love nature. I try to
Hmm.
take a minute and make sure my girls are pausing to like, look at this, like, look at this beautiful sunset, look at the beautiful sky, look at the beautiful trees. Amazing.
Okay. This from the girl who won't go camping because she'll only go glamping.
Well, now that I have a boyfriend that has a motorhome, I'm telling you what, I'm
that,
never going back.
that changes everything.
It really does.
I'm glad that you found this story, Jim. When we're doing our show prep in the morning, getting ready for the show, just looking for different stories to talk about, and you found this is just a feel good and a person that deserves to be recognized.
Yeah, I didn't even know about this person. So this is why I wanted to bring it up. Ruth Johnson Colvin, who founded Literacy Volunteers of America, who was inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame and received the nation's highest civilian award, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. She died on Sunday at the age of 107. But the reason I brought it up is she dedicated her life to this cause. She was an avid reader. She launched this organization, Literacy Volunteers, in 1962 to speak out against literacy and teach people to read. This is what spawned it. She saw the 1960 census data that showed 11,000 illiterate people were living in her neighborhood, which was in Syracuse, New York.
Hmm.
She and her husband of 73 years. She was married to Bob for 73 years, which makes my heart so
Wow.
happy. They traveled the world because this thing spread, this organization spread to a worldwide thing. So she went around with her husband and taught people to teach people to read and then taught people to read themselves. I mean, it's just, and her quote, I just loved her quote. She said, sometimes you have to step away from security into trust and faith and into believing in your passions. She saved hundreds of the letters that people wrote to her over the years from tutors, students, and supporters. Um,
Hmm.
and she said that those letters represented her life's work and proved that anyone can make a difference in the lives of others.
People that
So,
are somehow have the wherewithal. I mean, we all are happy to volunteer every now and again. We all want to help out, obviously, but people that I don't even know how they do it. It's like, how I'm thinking, well, how do you work full time and also do this? And often they don't work full time. It becomes their full time, job. And I really just there's any number of people that have done that and dedicated their lives to a cause.
yeah.
And I think that's amazing. What an amazing person there.
I opened up the article not knowing what to expect in the article. And it was such an inspiration. I was really looking for what was her secret to live to 107 years old? Because she looked
Right.
fantastic even at 107. So it didn't
Hmm.
say that. It talked about this, but I had to bring it up.
And
So,
when is the documentary going to come out on her life? I bet there will be one.
oh, I'm
You
sure.
know?
I'm sure she wrote an autobiography. I'm pretty sure that's what I read in there. And
Well,
yeah, anyway,
that's Ruth Johnson
Colvin.
Calvin who did this. Colvin, sorry.
Yeah.
So very nice. Now we're going to
Kurt,
move
talk
on from
about
that.
music. Talk about some concerts.
Well, since we were talking about the Foo Fighters concert that I saw on Sunday, that led us yesterday to chatting about and you brought this up. What's the person you've seen most in concert, and how many times was that? Because we, in our years and years in radio, uh, we've seen a lot of different shows, but it really shows that you're, dedicated to your artist rather. You see them 5, 6, 12 times, even 2 times. And I know that there's Swifties out there that'll say, because I think you said, Jen, you've seen Taylor twice.
I can't remember if this is terrible, if it's twice or three times. All I know is what I missed, and that's terrible. That's a terrible perspective because I missed the Eras tour.
I saw that
I
one.
know you did. I know you did. But I have not, there's not one artist for me where it's like I've seen people a couple times, like I've seen Billy Joel a couple times. I will have seen Pink. I'm gonna go see Pink in September. I've
Mm,
seen her one other time. So for me,
right.
it's just like maybe I've seen them twice at most, maybe three times with Taylor.
Right.
But for you, you've seen people like eight
REM.
times.
Yeah, I was such a fan, of their early stuff that
REM,
but
is that who
yeah,
you,
but that was
yeah.
before they were this enormous rock band, and so they were playing smaller places, and it was easy to get tickets, and they weren't the superstars that they became. So I think I saw REM 8 times, but I believe that Foo Fighters is catching up, if not equal to that, because Dana and I have seen the Foos 3 times together, and I think I saw them at least 4 times before that. So,
That's
but
awesome.
that's it, yeah. But then
Well,
I had the embarrassing one, like I told you yesterday. It's like I had to open this long string of shows from Bare Naked Ladies, and every night of that show, I had to go on. Hey, here's Bare Naked Ladies. That was in Detroit,
it's still
so I've
great.
seen them several times too. But
People weighed in. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
going to say people weighed in and told us who they've seen.
Barb has seen Trans-Siberian Orchestra 5 or 6 times, and we know Barb from our days at KPLZ. She won tickets many years.
Yeah.
She won tickets to go see Trans-Siberian Orchestra, which, of course, if you have not seen yet or you're not familiar with, big show right around the holidays. Lots of lasers and
They give back to the
it's
community.
yeah, they do. They give back to the community, so that's a good one as well from Barb. How about Jackie? She said she's seen Billy Joel 4 or 5 times. There you go.
She said she'd
Big
see him
Billy Joel.
100 more too.
Yeah, that's a good show. These people put on, Foos were on for 3 hours on Sunday night. Billy Joel has always done, long shows, just like what do you think of Bruce Springsteen doing like 4 hour concerts and stuff like
I'm
that.
sad I missed the Billy Joel show when he was here.
Yeah.
Was he in T-Mobile or whatever? But I wish I would have gone to
Yeah.
that. It looked amazing.
Well, so yeah, because at some point they're going to stop touring, and then it'd be woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
Uh,
Amanda wrote in, and I know Amanda, and she loves music. Like she is very, very, very passionate about live music. And she
mhm.
has seen Matt Nathanson
Oh yeah,
in concert, like sh-
she said
nearly
nearly
40
40 times.
times. Yeah. I was
Yeah.
going to say she was sitting down thinking about how many times, but nearly 40 times. She travels the country to go see him.
If you know the songs you might know from Matt, like "Come On, Get Higher" and "Faster" was a hit, quote unquote. But he is a lesser known artist, but super talented. We had him in at least one time for a Star Stage show,
Yeah.
and when we did that kind of stuff. So and obviously that's the cool thing for these artists when they're first starting up, is to have these super passionate super fans that are going to be at every show. So Matt Nathanson, that's a good one, Amanda. Appreciate you chiming in on that one.
Yeah.
And feel free to let us know if there's any other ones that we've missed here that you're like, oh yeah, I saw Guns N' Roses 217 times. That person would be crazy, in
I
my
mean, the
opinion.
person to beat is Amanda. Have you seen
Yeah.
someone more than 40
The person
times?
to beat is Amanda.
Old people things that millennials agree with. I like this a lot.
Well, it's funny because we refer to ourselves as old people every now and again. And I think a lot of people are like, well, you're not old, but the actual number, it's like we know what the number is. And so we're certainly not young. But there's a lot of things on this that millennials apparently are fuming over boomer stuff. We're not boomers. Jen and I are in the Gen X generation. But millennials talking about boomers, and these are some of the stuff that you and I think, would complain about too, right, Jen?
Mm-hmm.
So the new thread online, millennials are talking about the quote old person, the hills they die on. Like they're saying, these are things that I believe, and I'm going to stick to my guns on these. Some of the highlights of why things that millennials think old people do or say,
Wait,
rather.
is this stuff that okay, so now I'm confused. Is this stuff that they're fuming about that they don't agree with? This is common ground stuff. Like this is stuff that millennials agree with about like with what that boomers would also say to be true. Is that
Oh,
right?
it is okay.
That's how I read that. I mean, here, don't
You're
get me
correct.
wrong, because the millennials fume over a lot of boomer things like don't leave voicemail messages. That's the thing of the past. They ran
Hmm.
about how the customers always like there's just a things, right? There's things that they eating canned vegetables. No, don't do
Okay.
it.
So
So
this thing
these
you
are
popped
things
up
we
here, these are
agree
things
on.
that supposedly millennials and boomers agree on.
Yes.
Okay. New car headlights are too bright. That sounds like something only a person in their 60s or 70s would say. Those car headlights are too bright. But
This is
apparently boomers agree and
yeah,
millennials
this is
agree on that.
a great one. Social media was better when it only showed you content of your friends. Now it's like all of the other, like so many things to get to content that you actually want to see.
Right. People shouldn't listen to music or have videos and calls played on their phones in public without headphones.
I
Agree.
Everyone agrees with that. You shouldn't have
Agree.
to download an app for everything. Also agree. Like this is great stuff. Yes.
Well, this one here, and I have a hard time believing that this is what millennials think. Okay, but it is on
Okay.
this list. It says not everything needs to be recorded, photographed, and posted online. A funny thing that you mentioned, Jen, because when we were at you mentioned earlier, the supermoon and how it was a great ending to the Foo Fighters concert, and we're trying to take pictures of it, and it was difficult because of all the smoke in the air and whatnot. And I actually thought, you know what? People think they've said, if we can't see a picture, if we can't see a video, then it didn't happen. It's like, no, it did happen. I saw it and I'm happy with that. And I don't need to share it with the rest of the world. So I agree
Yeah.
that not everything needs to be recorded or posted online.
Sometimes things are just better seen and experienced in person. The
Mhm.
photograph doesn't give you necessarily what you need. People need to stop speeding through neighborhoods. Yes.
Agreed.
I'm skipping around here a little bit on this article that we were reading. Writing notes by hand on paper is better than typing notes.
I
Yes.
would agree. And for me, it's easier. Grab a pen, scribble it down, and there you go.
Yeah.
This how about that if I say something to you, I'd like acknowledgement that you heard me. Now, I'm not sure I understand that. So is this just that you the people, I guess since I don't have kids, I don't
I
know,
know
but
exactly what this is. And it
what's
is,
that?
I mean, for me, it's a kid thing, but it's not. Curt, you've probably experienced this from me. Like when I'm on my phone and then you start talking to me and or me to you, like, I'm like, did you hear what I said? Even Macy
Oh, that,
is famous for this, right? I'm like, I got nothing back from you. So I'm saying it again. She's like, Mom, I
oh,
heard you the first time. I'm like, then acknowledge
I
that I'm
see.
talking to you.
That does make sense. We actually, Jen and I had it wasn't a rule, but if there was something that was important, it had to be said because we're each doing our own thing as far as getting the show together and whatnot. And then we would say, let me know when you have a second so we can have complete attention. And that wasn't offensive. It wasn't like we were saying, there was no anger in it. It was just like, we both know that you can get caught up in what you're doing and actually not listen to what the other person is saying. So I do agree with that, yeah, yeah. Now
Tips
that you
should be
explained it to me.
This is just a couple more. Restaurants should offer actual menus, not just QR codes. Tips should
Yes.
be for sit down meals in restaurants only.
Okay.
And there should be zero work related texting, especially during non work hours.
Hmm. I can't disagree with any of those.
Yeah.
But this last one, the way that Gen Z makes hearts with their hands is deeply unsettling. You
Is
can
that
do
what they're
that.
talking about?
I don't know. I have to work on it before I can put it up. There we go.
Or
I
this?
think that's what
Is
they're
it?
talking about. My heart's not very good.
Mine
My
isn't
handmade heart is
either.
not very
Mine
okay.
isn't either.
Well, now you're annoying Gen Z by doing that because they find that unsettling, Jen.
How do you? All right. Moving on.
Does having a base tan protect you from sun damage? The reason I'm happy that this is being brought up is because as a fair-skinned person, uh, I've always been told, I've always joked about the fact that I have two, shades of my skin. It's either this or burnt. There's like no in between. And so all of my life, it was like, you know what you need to do? Just get a base tan first. Like, oh, I'd never thought of that. I'd never tried that. It doesn't work. There is no base tan for this fair skinned person. But this question is, and this is reasonable in the summertime, does having a base tan protect you from sun damage? Jen.
No, of course not. I mean, someone asked this of a dermatologist. Listen, if you're in the sun or exposing yourself to those kind of rays that are going to color your skin, it's bad. So no,
Right.
a base tan,
Well,
you're supposed to, if you're going to be in light like that, slather the protection on.
the base tan technically already is sun damage. I thought that
Yes.
was a funny line. Um,
Gosh, yes.
right. The amount of protection. Oh, this does say a base tan technically is sun damage. The amount of protection a base tan offers is minimal. They say it's like wearing SPF 4 at best. So that's almost nothing. But I guess some people would take that as, well, a base tan does provide some
No,
protection.
that's a bunch of baloney. You've damaged your skin if it's been exposed to sun like that or those kind of rays.
Don't do
Anyway,
it.
all right, don't do it. Don't do it. The most okay. Okay, this is
I
I
know.
have not read through this whole thing, Curt, because it said there was a challenge in this article that said try to get through this without cringing. And it's the
Oh,
most disgusting things people have put in their mouths. And
okay,
so we
okay.
want to
And
go
this is
through this.
happening on the old Curt and Jen podcast where we try to
Okay.
keep things. All right. So the most disgusting things people have put in their mouths. And this is most of these, a lot of these were accidental. It's not like they
Right.
went out of their way to do this. So let's start with the one that's not really gross.
Okay.
Soap. They weren't having their mouth washed out with soap or saying anything naughty. Someone was handing out soap samples outside of a store, and someone drunkenly popped the soap in their mouth thinking it was food.
Okay. I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah,
not
but if they
smart,
crunched it
but
up, like
be
a whole
aware
bar,
of,
like a mini bar of soap would be,
yeah.
that's, yeah. Ugh. I once accidentally chewed an Advil liquid gel cap.
I
Not me.
mean,
That's what somebody's saying.
that's gross, but I'm doing all right.
Okay, next one, Jen.
Seagull poo hit their face
Seagull.
and went right in their mouth.
You said seagull poo, like it was Jason Seagull's poo or Steven Seagal's
Seagull
poo.
poo,
No,
seagull poo.
seagull poo hit their face right in the mouth. Oh yeah, because we've all had. Has anybody not like swallowed a bug at some point?
I mean, we all,
An
without knowing it,
airborne,
I think we do that they say, the experts say that we eat insects every day without knowing it.
which is protein, so that's fine. This story: when I was a kid and a long overnight car trip, I reached for a bottle thinking it was water and drank some, but it was windshield washing fluid.
That is dangerous.
I think that is a little dangerous.
It's dangerous. This is the thing. Like, just be aware of what you're putting in your mouth, number one. And number two, don't put liquid or things in containers that are labeled with food and not relabel it.
Right.
I mean, I'm going to do a side note because I'm always super conscious of this now. Oh, my friend Shauna, she used to work at the
Mm-hmm.
station. It was her uncle, I think, went into his shop, or maybe it was someone else's shop. I don't remember. But it was a hot day, was working, grabbed a bottle of water and drank it. He was so thirsty, drank it. And someone else had put, like, just was emptying out like some kind of chemical and needed a container for it. I mean, like it really caused damage in his throat. I mean, he's
Oh
lucky to be
wow.
alive. Like it was acid stuff.
Oof. Well, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of times that is the case. I mean, because there's one on here that uh I've not done, but have you've been in a restaurant and you accidentally grab the next person that, like their drink, so you're expecting to have a nice refreshing drink of water and you put it to your mouth and it might be iced tea, it might be Coke, but anyway, the instant it hits your tongue, you're like, whoa, what did
Yeah.
I do? So that's
Um,
not so bad as this person who drank from a half full can of beer that had been used as an ashtray. Oh,
oh man. Baby
yeah.
spit up if you're a parent, you know what that's like.
How
Someone's
about,
cat
go ahead.
sneezed in their mouth when they yawned.
I have had the situation where I've been sleeping and or just napping on the couch, and your mouth is a little bit open, and your German Shepherd comes by, a lick. It's like, oh, thanks, buddy. I just got Frenched by my dog.
Ugh.
And
Um,
somebody was sleepwalking, and they ate a half a bowl of potpourri, thinking it was cereal.
okay.
I don't think that'd be bad for you, other than it's going to taste terrible.
Yeah, it is. Some actual edible food made the list, including clams, insects, Chinese century eggs,
Coconut
coconut
sparkling water.
sparkling
What's wrong with that?
water, foie gras. Is that how you say it? Foie gras?
I think it's foie gras, maybe. I don't know. I
Foie
don't know.
gras.
But
I
yeah,
think it's foie
what
gras.
is that? That's duck eggs.
No, no, it's
Okay,
not.
sorry. I know it has something to.
It
Well,
has
again, these are what people are claiming are the most disgusting things that they have put in their mouths. So some of this is actual foods, like but what I don't even know what Chinese century eggs are. Coconut sparkling water doesn't sound bad to me. And durian. Have you heard of durian?
nope.
It says it's a fruit delicacy that to some tastes like literal garbage.
Oh,
You know what? And honestly, in some other countries, the things that they eat, some delicacies in other countries, I think we would say why, but they have a taste for it. And
okay, I'm going to tell you what foie gras is. we should have known this. I knew this. I just had to double check it.
Is it something with
It's
ducks?
a delicacy in French cuisine made from the liver of a duck or goose that has been fattened through force feeding.
What's gross about that?
I mean, I'm more about the animal cruelty part of it.
Oh, yes. Okay, that's not good.
Yeah, I don't like
But
that part. Okay, so
okay.
that's our question for tomorrow. We want you to weigh in. The grossest thing that's ever been in your mouth, and keep it clean because
Keep it clean, right,
there's some
Jen? You always
gross.
say keep it
Yeah, keep
clean,
it
people.
clean. Keep it
Yeah.
clean,
The
people.
most disgusting thing you've had in your mouth, either accidentally or on purpose. And we need to post a video to remind people to chime in on this because
Do you want me to share my story with you right now? Because it's disgusting.
you know what? I can't wait. Go for it.
Okay, so I was weed whacking one day, and I'm typically a smiley person. I'm smiling. I'm getting some satisfaction after my yard looking good.
Yeah.
And the weed whacker, I didn't realize that there's a pile of poo that I hadn't cleaned up, and it just splattered right into my, like, on my face, and like one of it went in my mouth. The poopies, the dog poopies. There you go.
I'm just leaving that right there. I don't have anything to offer other than that might top the list.
I can't. Okay.
Well, in the movie Step Brothers, they tried to get Will Ferrell to lick the same, but for you, it was a real life experience.
It was Curt.
But did you die? No.
No, I didn't. Okay. All right. Curt,
We were
I'm
going to try to
excited.
go watch Duck Dodge tonight on Lake Union
Yeah,
here
I
in
was going to say,
Seattle.
I'm excited to see you later today on the boat, on the water, to
Mhm.
watch Duck Dodge.
Yeah, it's a little weather permitting, and it looks like it's going to be kind of a cloudy day, but it may clear up enough to go do it. We're going to go with some friends and Duck Dodge. Explain Duck Dodge to people that don't know what it
And
is.
we'll talk more about it tomorrow, but it is a sailboat race that happens every Tuesday on Lake Union. And
Mhm.
each week, it usually happens, I think it's between the end of May and the end of September.
Boat
And
season, right?
I mean, it is fun to watch. I mean, it's beautiful too, all the sailboats on Lake Union. I mean, it's obviously more beautiful when it's a blue sky, sunshiny day, but it's just a fun thing that they do, and it's fun to watch it. And tonight's theme is pirates. So we'll see a lot of pirates themed
That's right.
sailboats.
They do up the sailboats and decorate them, and the boaters actually get into it. It is a lot of fun, and we
Yeah,
may have we'll take pictures because if you don't take pictures, it didn't happen. You
that's
have to
not good.
post them too.
Yeah,
So we will
we
take, and
will.
maybe we'll get the moon in the background
Maybe.
if we get lucky.
We hope you have a great day, despite it might be a little cloudy. It doesn't matter. Bring your own sunshine. Make good choices, find joy, and spread kindness. Thanks for listening.